हरे कृष्णा माता जी, सादर प्रणाम माता जी।
प्रणाम माता जी। जय श्री प्रभुपाद। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to this Hare Krishna Pranam Mataji. So today is the 8th session of speaking about Varnasrama. It's 19th of January 2025. Yesterday we started chapter 3, and this is a conversation between Srila Prabhupada and the head of the Department of India Studies in Moscow, Professor KOTOVSKY, the famous Professor KOTOVSKY, who's quoted several times in Srila Prabhupada's talks. So we also set a background that Srila Prabhupada was there only for a short time. Short time means they only permitted him, right? He got a visa for 7 days, and also when they landed at the airport, I think they confiscated the books that they had. Somehow one Bhagavad Gita, was hidden inside, so that managed to go into the country. But and then they said he could only stay for 5 days, and that he was constantly being watched because it was a communist country and they didn't want any type of religious preaching there. So of those 5 days, Srila Prabhupada was most of the time practically in his hotel room. And only on the 4th day, his secretary, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, brought one person to meet with Srila Prabhupada. Just one person that Srila Prabhupada preached to resulted in the Hare Krishna movement in Russia that we know today. So many devotees. So anyway, during his stay for those 5 days, Srila Prabhupada, he was, it was arranged for him to meet with the head of the department of the Indian Studies Department in the University of Moscow. So this was an informal conversation between Srila Prabhupada and Professor KOTOVSKY in that professor's office. That's the background. So during their conversation, we see how Srila Prabhupada opened the topic about the modern sociology with communist ideas, and in which they considered the people of the state to be the owner of the state, whereas in Vedic conception, in the Ishopanishad, we see that everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, and everyone is allotted a share. And we have a right on the share which is allotted to us, but we are not allowed to encroach upon others' share. So this is how the discussion was opened. And then Srila Prabhupada also said that I read in Moscow newspaper, a communist newspaper, in Moscow news, he read that one of the communist congressmen, he said that they were willing to take ideas or experiences from others in order to improve their idea of communism. So Srila Prabhupada was suggesting that they could take ideas from Vedas, Vedic communism. Then Srila Prabhupada said how, the communistic idea or socialist idea is nobody should starve. Everyone should get proper food, enough food. So this is also there in the Vedas, where the grihasthas are meant to feed not just their family members, but everyone. At lunchtime, the head of the family goes out on the road and he's supposed to call out 3 times. If anyone is hungry, right, as far as his voice can go, he'll be calling out loudly. If anyone is hungry, please come, lunch is ready, like that. He's supposed to call. And then he'll call like this 3 times. That means he's giving a chance. So first he'll go, he'll call. Then I think again, he'll call after some time and again to make sure that nobody's going hungry in that area where he's living, even a traveler or anyone. And when nobody comes, nobody shows up, then finally he will take his lunch. This is the Vedic system. So there's no question of anyone going hungry if every householder is doing this. Not only human beings, even the lizards and snakes that live in the holes in the house, the householder makes sure that they also get some food. So we also discussed Srila Prabhupada's father, Gaur Mohan Dey's feeding rats in the night, right? Like he would keep some rice in his shop, cloth shop, so that they don't go and bite on the... so that's the Vedic way of dealing with problems. Instead of keeping rat traps and killing them, he would keep some rice for them. So then we saw Professor KOTOVSKY. He said, getting these ideas of, Srila Prabhupada proposing communist ideas from the Vedas. Now he's presenting the work that they are doing. Actually, we have translated many of the Indian literature, right, which reflects Indian culture and Indian history. We have translated some parts of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and also many Puranas. You'll find out that we published not all the Puranas, but many Puranas. So picking on the word Purana, Srila Prabhupada says, amongst all the Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam is the Mahapurana. He says, oh, Mahapurana. Then Srila Prabhupada goes on saying how it is so authentically presented. Srila Prabhupada is, the way he has presented 18,000 shlokas. And for each and every shloka, there is English, there is Sanskrit verse, then there is transliteration, then there is word-to-word translation, English translation, and finally explanation. That means completely authentic and thorough. There is no way to, what do you say, to juggle up words and give some other meaning. In a very authentic way, it is presented, and we can show it to you if you want. And then immediately KOTOVSKY says that actually, there's a branch of our institute in Leningrad, and where we are, he actually personally, right? He has written a book about Indian philosophy and history of Indian religion, and I can show it to you like that. And there he uses the word Hinduism. Then immediately Srila Prabhupada picks on the word Hinduism, and Srila Prabhupada says, no, this Hindu word is not from the scriptures. It's coming from the Mohammedans, right? They're not able to say the word sa, right? There's a river called Sindhu. Not being able to pronounce Sindhu, they say Hindu. People who are living on the other side of that river, they started calling them Hindus. So this Hindu word you won't find in the scriptures. The word that you find for the culture in India, that word is Varnasrama. which consists of 4 varnas and 4 ashrams, like that. Srila Prabhupada explained about Varnashram. So KOTOVSKY, Varnashram. Prabhupada said, yes, Varnashram. Then he says that according to the European philosophers, this Varnashrama was introduced in the later period of Indian history. In the older times, right, the earlier history of India, in those scriptures, we don't find this Varnashram. And actually, we don't have so much information. We don't have access to those books. But according to the European philosophers, this is a recent addition, right? In the recent scriptures, you find the word Varnashram. Then Srila Prabhupada said, but as far as we are concerned, we find Krsna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam. I created this Varnashrama system consisting of 4 varnas and 4 ashrams based on guna and karma. And this Bhagavad Gita was spoken at least 5,000 years ago. That means 5,000 years ago, this Varnashram system existed. And within Bhagavad Gita itself, Krsna says that I spoke this originally to the sun god. That means some 40 million years ago. So for you, if you have evidence of all the books for the past 5,000 years, then you can check. Actually, it's there 5,000 years. So he's saying it's a recent history. So do you consider 5,000 years recent history? And what to speak of 40 million years? So that was left at that. He couldn't go any further on that topic. And then he says, so Srila Prabhupada further, he explains, not just in Bhagavad Gita, even in Vishnu Purana, you will find this. And then how this Varnashram system, Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain this Varnashram system, how it is natural. Because it is creation of the Lord. Anything which is created by the Lord, it is universal. It is not meant for one particular class, just like the sun. When the sun is created by the Lord, so sunshine is experienced everywhere in the world. So similarly, Varnashram system is created by the Lord. You will find this Varnashram system everywhere. It does not matter whether it is Russia, America, or India, wherever. This Varnashram system, 4 divisions will be found. And then, what are the duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, like that. Then KOTOVSKY has another argument. He says, you said that these 4 varnas can be found everywhere, but in modern society, it's hard to find. How do you assign who is a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? It is hard. Then Prabhupada says, no, there is intelligent class of men, just like you're an intelligent person, a professor. Although everyone is a Shudra, but still we need one intelligent person. So he said, oh, yes, intelligent, right? The teachers, the duties are mentioned already. Who is doing what? So the teacher is the intelligent class. So he says that, yeah, so we can find Brahmanas and we can find Kshatriyas also, administrator class. But where do we find Shudras and Vaishyas? That was his question. Then Srila Prabhupada said, workers, yes, the factory workers. So we'll find Brahmanas, we'll find Kshatriyas and laborers, but we don't have any Vaishyas here because the government is controlling all the production and everything. So there is no Vaishyas. Then finally, Srila Prabhupada said, actually, Shastra says that in Kali Yuga, everyone is a Shudra. Everyone is born Shudra in Kali Yuga. But you cannot leave the function of society in the hands of Shudras. It's only going to be a chaos. Just like in a body, you have head, you have arms, you have belly, you have legs. For the proper function of the body, you need all 4. Head is needed, arms are needed for protection, legs are needed for working, belly is needed for food, digesting food. Similarly, in a society, all 4 are required. If you have only Shudras, how will the society move smoothly? It won't happen. It won't function smoothly. So now that we have only Shudras, what should be done? From amongst the Shudras, you have to train some of them as Brahmanas, train some of them as Kshatriyas, train some of them as Vaishyas, so that the society can move nicely. So that's where we stopped yesterday. So we will continue today from there. So Srila Prabhupada quoted from Shastra, the Vedic conception, Mukha Bahuru Padebhyaha. So Mukha means face, Bahu means arm, Uru means waist or belly, and pada means legs. Anywhere, so anywhere, either you take this state or that state, it doesn't matter, unless there is a smooth, systematic establishment of these four orders of life, the state or the society will not go very smoothly. Professor KOTOVSKY. Acha, does anyone like to read? If you like to read, you can take turns reading also. No? Okay, then I'll just read. If you want to read, just raise your hand. Conditionally, to group them in four classes. So now KOTOVSKY, Professor KOTOVSKY is speaking. So he's trying to understand what Srila Prabhupada said. What did he
I
say?
can read, Mataji, if you make the
Go ahead.
fonts bigger.
Go ahead.
If you can make the fonts bigger.
Oh, bigger? Is that better?
Yeah, to some extent more. Yeah. Professor KOTOVSKY, conditionally to group them in four classes because Prabhupada, the confusion has come to existence because in India, in later days, the son of a Brahmana without having the Brahmanical qualification claimed to be Brahmana, and others out of superstition traditional way they were accepted as Brahmana. Therefore, the Indian social order has disrupted. But out of this Krishna consciousness movement, we are picking up from everywhere Brahmanas, everywhere because the world needs the brain of a Brahmana. Just like here, Maharaj Parikshit, although he was a monarch, he had a body of a learned sage and Brahmana to consult. Advisory body. It is not that the monarchs were independent. In the history, it is found that some of the monarchs were not in order. They were dethroned by the Brahmanical advisory committee. Although the Brahmanas, they did not take part in politics, but they would give advice to the monarch I mean to say, execute the royal function. Not every old very say about what is the age of, I mean to say, Ashoka, say about thousand of years ago. Professor KOTOVSKY, as we call from our in Indian terminology, we call in ancient and medieval India. Prabhupada, yes, in medieval India. Professor KOTOVSKY, and old and the feudal India, you were right. This was very often, and from the Brahmanas, the major part of height is question mark religious stuff question mark rigid stock in religious department question mark even Mughal emperors there were Brahmanas who advised modern Mughal emperors. Prabhupada, yes. Professor KOTOVSKY, in administration. Prabhupada, yes. Professor KOTOVSKY, and such like. Prabhupada, our predecessor, Acharya Rupa Goswami, he was finance minister in the Mohammedan government. When he resigned, the Nawab was not very satisfied that I cannot relieve you because you are my right hand man. If you resign all of a sudden in this way, then I shall arrest you. There is a long history. So that's the fact. The Brahmanas were kept as advisory committee of the king. Now I was going to speak the latest Hindu kings, Chandragupta. He is the age of Alexander the Great because a little before Chandragupta, Alexander the Great from Greece, they went to India and conquered some portions. So this Chandragupta, when he became emperor, he had his prime minister Chanakya. Perhaps you heard of this name, Chanakya, Professor KOTOVSKY. Chanakya, oh yes, Prabhupada. Yes, he was a great politician, Brahmana, and under whose name in New Delhi, all the foreign embassies, they were flocked together. Yes, it is called Chanakya. Professor KOTOVSKY. Hmm. Chanakya Puri is, yes, I know. Prabhupada. So this Chanakya Pandita was a great politician and Brahmana. And as Brahmana, he was vastly learned. He has got some moral instruction. They were very valuable, still going on. In India, school children are taught. So this Chanakya Pandit, although he was he was prime minister, he maintained his Brahmanical spirit. He was not accepting any salary. Yes, because of Brahmanas to accept salary, it is understood that he has become a dog. That is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. He can advise, but he cannot accept. So he was living in a cottage, but he was prime minister. So this Brahmanical culture, the Brahmanical brain is standard for of Vedic civilization. So many things they were changing, but because of this modern age, the whole Hindu society was being governed by Monu Smriti.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. So, what did Professor KOTOVSKY say? Professor KOTOVSKY is saying that the question was about we need all four. So we need all four. Just like a body needs head, arms, belly, and legs, similarly, a society needs brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaisyas, and shudras. Then KOTOVSKY's argument was that how do you find who's what in today's society? So how will you group people into four classes? There is confusion. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining why there is confusion now. Why there is confusion about who is Brahmana, etc. Because at some point, the Brahmanas from India, they had abused their position as the leaders. They didn't do their duty. The duty of the Brahmana is to preach, to teach what is there in the Vedas to the people and guide them all properly towards the goal of life. And what they did was they started accepting, and also the other thing is Chaturvarna Maya Srishtam. So these four types of varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, it is not based on birth. Where do you find in Shastra that Brahmana is by birth or Shudra is by birth? It is always by guna and karma. It is not by birth. But at some point, to maintain, to enjoy that position of being the leader, the Brahmanas twisted it and they said it is by birth. That means Brahmana's son is a Brahmana automatically. Whether he has the qualification or not, if he has taken birth from a Brahmana father, automatically he becomes a Brahmana. That's where corruption began. Srila Prabhupada is saying. So now there is confusion. People will accept someone as Brahmana if he's born in a Brahmana family. If he's not born in a Brahmana family, they will not accept. So the Indian social order was disrupted because of this. But what we are doing in the Hare Krishna movement, Srila Prabhupada is saying, we are picking up Brahmanas from everywhere. Not just in India, but all over the world. We pick up Brahmanas. So yesterday, if you remember, what is the role of a guru? Guru must identify, even this is the Vedic system. When you go to a Gurukula, the guru identifies what is your swabhava. Whether you're Brahmana, of course you have to have. One thing to be remembered here is that it's not that you can just pick up anyone and you just make that person into a Brahmana. That person should have that inclination then that person can be trained as a Brahmana. He should have that swabhava, and then he can be. So that it's just like you find a diamond, right? And it is very, very dirty. And so if you polish it, then it can shine nicely as a diamond. But if that is not there, in that diamondness is not there, if you just take any lump of matter and you can keep, or some stone, and you just keep polishing and polishing and polishing, it's not going to turn into a diamond ever. So that has to be there. That, and then the guru will identify what is that swabhava, and then he will train him according to his nature. So somebody has the nature of a Brahmana, somebody has the nature of a Kshatriya. The guru identifies that, and then he will train. Now, he will not put a limitation that unless you're born to a Brahmana father, you cannot be trained. This is false. This is wrong. This was done, and this was a big fault. This had happened at some time in the Indian history. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, we pick up Brahmanas from everywhere. Taking one person, seeing that he has that inclination and polishing it, then he'll shine as a Brahmana. So we are doing that. So that is what the Krishna consciousness movement is doing. We are picking up Brahmanas from everywhere. Why we are picking up Brahmanas, you may question. Already it was said that Kalau Shudra Sambhava. In Kali Yuga, everyone is a Shudra. What is the need to make Brahmanas, to train Brahmanas? What is the need? So then Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Parikshit Maharaj. The world needs Brahmana. Brahmana is the one who is giving direction. From Shastra, he's giving direction, which way to go. He's the head. If you don't have a head, do you know where you're going, what you're doing? So Brahmana is the head. The world needs Brahmanas to give direction. And then Prabhupada starts giving examples. Parikshit Maharaj, that how he decided to go and sit on the banks of the Ganges and then sit and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. He inquired. He took the advice of the learned sages, Brahmanas. And he's asking so many questions. What should be the duty of a person who's about to die? By taking advice from Brahmanas, even when he was ruling as a king, how to rule also, certainly he was constantly being guided by Brahmanas. Not just Parikshit Maharaj. Prabhupada says even recent, right? So Parikshit Maharaj is okay 5,000 years ago. Recent means some 1,000 years ago or something, thousands of years ago, lesser than 5,000. There is King Ashoka. Then KOTOVSKY say, yes, even we read, in the Mughal time, that there were some Brahmanas advising the Mughal emperors. Then immediately Srila Prabhupada says, yes, our Acharya Srila Rupa Goswami, he was advising Nawab Hussain Shah in the Mohammedan government. He was advising Nawab Hussain Shah, so much so that when Sanatan Rupa Goswami wanted to retire, he wouldn't allow, especially Sanatan Goswami later on, he wouldn't allow him to take, retirement. How am I going to function without you? He was so dependent. That means the Brahmanas advisory committee is very much essential for the king to rule. Then Srila Prabhupada is saying the latest Hindu king Chandragupta, his minister was Chanakya Pandit, the famous Chanakya Pandit about whom children read in their school books, and on whose name there is a place in Delhi, right, where you find all the embassies, international embassies are there, Chanakyapuri. So Professor KOTOVSKY said, yes, I know. That means a Brahmana is very much needed in society to guide the rulers how to rule. That is why we are making Brahmanas, and we are accepting Brahmanas from everywhere. That's the point. Brahmanas are required. But then, who is a Brahmana? If somebody has like now Professor KOTOVSKY is a professor, right? He's teaching. So you'll say he's a Brahmana. Of course, in a general way, it is said intelligent class and administration class. But then there is karma and vikarma. Karma means that which is prescribed in the Shastra, in the Veda, Vikarma means that activity which is against Shastric prescriptions. So now Professor KOTOVSKY may say, I am also a Brahmana because I am a teacher. But what is the standard of life for a Brahmana? Brahmana will never accept salary. And Prabhupada gives the example of Chanakya Pandit. He was the prime minister. He was the prime minister of the king. But he was living in his small cottage outside the kingdom. He's living in his small cottage. But he is the prime minister. Prime minister, he's advising the king how to rule, what to do. But he's not accepting any salary. That is a Brahmana. He won't accept any salary. When you accept a salary, then you become a Shudra. A Brahmana who accepts salary becomes a dog. Therefore, you should not charge, even for education. When you're teaching, you shouldn't charge, because Brahmana teaches. He doesn't charge a salary or a fee. Donations are accepted. Donations are accepted. That means according to your means, somebody can give some donation. That a Brahmana can accept. But even when he accepts the donation, he doesn't keep all that and build his bank balance. No. Brahmana's lifestyle means simple living. So he will only take what he needs for that day. The rest he will give away again. He won't keep. Because if he keeps, I think we read it earlier, right? That spoils his consciousness. He won't be able to give proper judgment. It pollutes his consciousness. So therefore, he should not accept. And what to speak of accepting salary being maintained by the king, right? Monthly salary and everything. No, don't accept. So now you may think of some personalities in Mahabharata that we read who were maintained being Brahmanas. They were being paid salaries and maintained by the king. What happens when you accept like this? You become obliged. When you take favors from others, you become obliged. A Brahmana cannot be obliged to anyone. Because he becomes obliged, then his judgment becomes corrupt. It becomes colored. He will have to, because now he's obliged, he will have to give his judgment in favor of the person that is favoring him. He won't be able to speak the truth from Shastra as it is. That is why Brahmana should not take, he cannot accept salaries or maintenance. And when he goes begging, that begging of Brahmana, it's not like the person is doing some favor on Brahmana. It is the Brahmana's property. The Supreme Lord himself says this. In Prithu Maharaja's Upakhyana, we will read there. Lord Vishnu appears in the sacrifice of Prithu Maharaj. The Lord Vishnu says that you can rule everyone, but you don't rule Brahmanas. Actually, the whole property belongs to the Brahmanas only. When they go and beg from door to door, they're actually taking their own property. They're taking a portion of their own property. Nobody is doing any favor on Brahmanas. So that should be understood. But at the same time, the Brahmana also should live. He should be a true Brahmana who's actually living by the standard of a Brahmana. Not that he's taking all that property and he's living a lavish lifestyle. Then he's not a Brahmana anymore. So there's conditions on both sides. Anyone who's strictly following Shastra, he's protected. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. One who protects Dharma, he's protected by Dharma. So anyway, coming back to our discussion here, Chanakya Pandit, even though he was a prime minister, he stayed in his cottage. He didn't accept any salary. He didn't accept a nice mansion or facilities from the king. This is Brahminical culture. And this type of Brahminical brain is essential for guiding a society. And that is the standard of Vedic civilization. How a society is guided? A society is guided by the Brahminical brain of a proper Brahmana. But do we have that system today? Do we have such brahmanas? Is the government functioning on the advice of brahmanas, such pure brahmanas? And are the brahmanas also guiding? First of all, is their life according to the Brahminical standard? Do we have such brahmanas? So Prabhupada is saying so many things are changing. Now means this was in 1971. You can imagine what it is now, 2025. So many things are changing. But before this modern age, the whole Hindu society was being governed by Manusmriti. So that is why Shastra Pramanam, Shastra is our guide about what is to be done and what is not to be done. And in order to understand that Shastra, you need some pure Brahmanas who can tell us what the Shastra is saying. So now Professor KOTOVSKY comes with another argument. Oh, we finished that, right? Chanakya Pandit, should we start the next section now? Yes. So does anyone else would like to read? Chinmay Mataji want to read?
రీడ్ చేస్తాను కానీ అవుట్ సైడ్ ఉన్నాం మేము. ఓకే, ఒక 2 paragraphs వరకు.
You can read, okay. So yeah, Professor KOTOVSKY.
Okay. Professor KOTOVSKY. In all periods in India, Prabhupada, Manusmriti, now they are changing so many. Strictly speaking, the modern Hindus, they are not strictly according to the Hindu scriptures. Professor KOTOVSKY, oh yes, Prabhupada, no, they are not. So our point is, we are not going to bring back the old type of Hindu society. It is not that, Professor KOTOVSKY. It is impossible, Prabhupada. It is impossible. Our idea is that best ideas from the original idea, just like in the Bhagavata, there is a description of the communist idea, and it is and it is being described to Maharaj Yudhishthira. So if there is something good experience, why it should not be adopted? That is our point of view. In the modern civilization, the ultimate goal, aim is sense gratification. That's all. Beyond that, they do not know anything more. They do not know what is next life. There is no department of knowledge or the scientific department to study what is there after life, after finishing this body. That is a great, to say, department of knowledge. Professor KOTOVSKY, what I am most interested in is, for instance, not a student but a young worker or a young son of a farmer, how he would abstain from his old life and he would be initiated and join your community into a given center. How he would entertain himself? Would he be paid to stay in that center? Prabhupada, this propaganda is meant for certain
Creating
some brahmanas all over the world, because the brahmanas element is lacking. So one who seriously comes to us, he has to become a brahmana. So he is to adopt the occupation of a brahmana, and he is to give up the occupation of a kshatriya or a sudra. But if one wants to keep his profession, at the same time wants to understand also, that is allowed. Just like we have many professors, there is
Howard Wheeler,
Howard Wheeler, professor of
Ohio
University. He is my disciple. So he is the continuing his professorship, but whatever money he is getting, almost he is spending for out this Krishna consciousness. For Grihasthas, those who are householders living outside, they are expected to contribute 50% of the income for the society, 25% for the family, and 25% for his professional emergency. After all, in this world, if we live so far, we are concerned, we are sannyasi, but you are a professor. If there is some emergency, you cannot go to bed. But I am a sannyasi. I can tell you that I am in difficulty. That is the system. So we have got 4 orders, just like he is a brahmachari and he is a grihastha. He has got his wife, children, so he is a grihastha. He is a brahmachari. Similarly, there is a sannyasi. So that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Prabhu's teachings. It doesn't matter whether one is a grihastha householder or the renounced order or a brahmachari or the brahmana or sudra. It doesn't matter. If anyone understands the science of Krishna, he becomes the spiritual master. The exact word is in Bengali, Kiba Vipra Kibanyasi Sudra Kena Naya Ye Krishna Tattvaveta Say Guru Haya. Madhya Leela 8.128. Whether one is the brahmanas, a sannyasi, or a sudra, regardless or what he is, he can become a spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. Anyone who understands the science of Krishna, he can become Professor KOTOVSKY, Guru. Prabhupada, the spiritual master, Professor KOTOVSKY, I understand, but in generally, by creating a brahmanas from different social classes of a society, really you deny the old prescriptions of Hindu script, because according to old script, the Puranas, etc. extra, every members of one of the 4 classes, these varnas. Prabhupada, yes. Professor KOTOVSKY is to be born inside it. Prabhupada, no. Professor KOTOVSKY, but not appointed. Prabhupada, no. Professor KOTOVSKY, this is the major. Prabhupada, no. I am sorry. Professor KOTOVSKY, foundation of all the varnas. Prabhupada, you are not speaking correctly. With a great respect, I beg to submit you are not speaking correctly. In the Bhagavad Gita 3.4, Bhagavad Gita 4.13, it is stated, Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagasaha. These 4 orders of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is created by me according to quality and work. There is no mention of birth. There is no mention of birth. Professor KOTOVSKY, yes, I agree with you. That is this was addition of a late Brahmanas who tried to. Prabhupada. No, that
1 second, Mataji.
okay.
Yes, go ahead. No.
No, that he has killed the Indian culture. You see, otherwise.
Sorry. Oh, what happened? How can I go back?
ఇక్కడ కొట్టండి మాతాజీ అక్కడ
ఎక్కడ?
మార్క్ ఉంది కదా యారో మార్క్ దగ్గర వెనక్కి వెళ్ళండి
వెనక్కి వెళ్తే it's going somewhere else. See?
అవునా
Yeah. ఒక్క నిమిషం. It's not working. Okay, I'll just go back to. Let's start again. Yeah. That's one, chapter 1. Chapter 2.
Chapter 3
Chapter
అన్నారు
3.
కదా.
Chapter 3, Spiritual Communism. So in that we started with page 27 today. And Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi. Yes. So you're not speaking correctly, Srila Prabhupada said. So maybe you can
Yes,
start
yes.
from here. Know
Cycle
that.
prayer.
That is, yeah. Huh?
No,
No? Yeah.
that has killed the Indian culture. You see, otherwise there was no necessity of division of this Pakistan. Not only that, from history, perhaps you know, this whole planet was the Bharatavarsha, and it was controlled by one flag up to Maharaj Parikshit. Gradually, they separated. This is the history, and lately they have separated Pakistan. So, Bharatavarsha is now crippled into a small pieces of land. Otherwise, according to our scripture, Vedic scripture, this whole planet is called the Bharatavarsha. Professor KOTOVSKY, have you come across some hostile attitude to your teaching from
We can stop here,
Harvard?
Mataji, because this
Okay.
starts the next topic. So we can discuss this much first. Thank you, Mataji. So what did we see? That the 4 are required, right? And how Srila Prabhupada said we need brahmanas. The society needs brahmanas. They are the advisors. They are the head who are going to guide. So then, what is Professor KOTOVSKY's argument? That so Prabhupada said how taking from Parikshit Maharaj 5,000 years ago, and then we saw Ashoka. And after that, so KOTOVSKY says, yes, you're right, even that is medieval period. So there is the, feudal period, feudal India and medieval India as per modern historians, right? Or European historians who are studying Indian history. They divide India in time periods as feudal India and medieval India. So in medieval India, at the time of the ruling of King Ashoka, Emperor Ashoka, at that time we see there are brahmanas. Even in the Mughal emperor's rule, we see brahmanas. So Srila Prabhupada immediately brings Rupa Goswami, who was a brahmana advisor minister for a Mughal king or Mohammedan king, Nawab Hussain Shah, how much he was dependent. Then the most recent king, Chandragupta, he was also guided by a brahmana minister, Chanakya Pandit. But then the question is, the brahmana is actually living by the standard of a brahmana. He cannot accept salary. That's what we discussed. And Srila Prabhupada is saying Manusmriti was guiding how the society should be conducted. Actually, Manusmriti is the manual, law book for a human society, how the society should be conducted. And according to time, acharyas present a particular Dharma Shastra to be followed in that particular period. Manusmriti is given by Manu. That is his role. Who is Manu? Manu is the father of mankind. One day of Brahma has 14 time periods. It's divided into 14 time periods called 14 Manvantaras. In every Manvantara, there is a Manu who is heading that time period. He is the king for that whole time period. One Manvantara is about 71 Mahayugas. Mahayuga means Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. These 4 yugas taken together is called a Mahayuga. So for a period of 71 Mahayugas, there is one Manu. So this Manu gives the law book, Manu Smriti, Manu Samhita, which guides how society should be conducted. What are the duties for the people of various varnas and ashrams? What are the duties for all people of different group, for different groups of people? What are their duties? What is to be done? What is not to be done? Dharma Shastra. This is Manu's function. This is his role. But within his period, again, there is Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. What is applicable in Satyuga, all that is not necessarily applicable in Kali Yuga. Because with the passage of time, there's dwindling of dharma. There is dwindling of values in life. Prayanalpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadruta. This is the disqualification of the people of Kali Yuga. So then if you set the standards that are meant for Satyuga to people of Kali Yuga, what will they do? They won't be able to follow. So for Kali Yuga specifically, Parashara Smriti is the Dharma Shastra. Parashara Smriti. Parashara Muni is the father of Vyasdev. Parashara Muni. So Parashara Smriti is the Dharma Shastra for Kali Yuga. So from that, now when there is a society, when we have a Daiva Varnashram society, how the society should be conducted is decided by who? There will be an enlightened, advanced Brahmana in that community. Last weekend, we were reading about Srila Prabhupada talking to the devotees in New Vrindavan. And Srila Prabhupada said how the sannyasi should be given the highest position in a society. So there's Brahmanas. And in that also, of the 4 varnas, the Brahmana is top. And of the 8 varnas and ashrams together taken, sannyasi is on top. So the Brahmanas, they are the ones who will give the set of values, set of rules and duties that are to be followed in their particular society, considering time, place, and circumstance. But even the prescription which is given by the Brahmanas is not whimsical. It will be given following Dharma Shastra. And Dharma Shastra which is applicable for that particular time period. Who will know this? Brahmanas only will know. Others won't know. They're not so advanced. They cannot understand. So that is why Brahmanas are very, very important. Yesterday we were reading, Prabhupada said, whether it is one society or you take the whole state or the whole country or the whole world, you need Brahmanas. Brahmanas are the advisors. They can see with Shastra Chakshu. They have the eyes of Shastra. They can see what the Shastras are saying, what is recommended, what should be done, what should not be done. And they will pass on this message to the rulers, the Kshatriyas. And based on the advice of the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas will rule. So Brahmanas are very important. So what Srila Prabhupada is saying here is about Manusmriti. He's saying that in the past, the monarchs had a committee of Brahmanas who was guiding him. And the Brahmanas were following Manusmriti. And that was the Hindu society. As you know, today you call Hindu. But in the current society, this talk was happening in 1971 at that time. Srila Prabhupada saying in the current Hindu society, they have changed so many things. They're not following Shastra. They're not making, the constitution is not made based on Dharma Shastras. Constitution is supposed to be made based on Dharma Shastra. It's not being made based on Dharma Shastra. Many things they are changing. That's the point Srila Prabhupada is making. Right? They're not even Hindus, they're not strictly living according to the Hindu scripture. Then KOTOVSKY is saying, yeah, to live according to that standard, it's impossible now. It's impossible. So Srila Prabhupada also said, yes, it is impossible. But we are not suggesting that in the current situation, you should apply the same standards which were followed in the previous time. It is not possible. But at the same time, you can take the best ideas from that, from the original idea. Take the best ideas from the original idea and you apply whatever is possible in the present situation. So here, this is a communist country. You have a communist government. You take communistic idea from Bhagavad. There is a description of communistic idea in Srimad Bhagavatam being described to Maharaj Yudhishthir. So if you find something good somewhere, you should accept it. Right? We also find in Chanakya Niti, right? If you find, knowledge, you must accept knowledge from a person, even if he's from a low born. He's not a Brahmana. He's not a person born as a Brahmana. He may be a Shudra, but if he has education, you must go and accept it from him. If there is a girl who is actually, from a low class, lower caste, born in a lower caste, but if she has all the qualities of a good wife, right? She can become a very good wife. She has all the qualities of a good woman. You must accept her as a wife. And you find a gem, like a diamond or something in a dirty place, you shouldn't think, oh, it's in a dirty place. You should pick it up. The idea is when there is something valuable, regardless of where it is coming from. So Shastra always gives us the worst scenario. The worst scenario. That means even if it is in such an abominable condition, still you should take. That means it is stressing the value of the thing that has to be taken. Not to say that taking communist ideas from Bhagavatam is like taking diamond from Kichad. That's not the analogy I'm giving here. I'm just trying to say, Srila Prabhupada is saying you should take. If there is something valuable, don't consider that, oh, this is not our country, this is not our religion, this is not our scripture, why I should take. Don't think like that. If something is good, just accept it. That's Srila Prabhupada's idea. So he's saying that you will find communist ideas being taught to Maharaj Yudhishthir. If there is something good, if there is good experience, why you should not adopt it? This is our point of view. Srila Prabhupada is saying, this is my point. That the goal in this modern civilization, what is the goal? What do you want? Everything that you do, it is meant for sense gratification. That's all. Right? There is no understanding of who you are and what is soul, what happens after life, where are you going? Nothing. The only thing that everyone is working for and everyone is teaching others is how to get sense gratification. That is the goal of life. All propaganda, everything is about sense gratification. But the real science is to know what happens after this life. That's a great science, but there is no department in any university which teaches what happens after this life, where you are going, what is happening to you. So Srila Prabhupada, if you see, he's again and again, in the conversation you will see, he accepts whatever, accepts means he speaks. Like when Professor KOTOVSKY, initially, he threw the word Hindu, and Srila Prabhupada brought it back to, Varnasrama. From Hindu, Srila Prabhupada brought the term Varnasrama. Even before that, Professor KOTOVSKY threw Purana, and from that Srila Prabhupada brought to Srimad Bhagavatam, the highest, Nigama Kalpa Taror Galitam Phalam, and then preaching, right? We have that Srimad Bhagavatam with 18,000 shlokas. We can present it to you. So then, after that, now, what was the recent thing? About the Muslims, right? Even in the Muslims, there were Brahmanas, and then Srila Prabhupada immediately brought Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami was the advisor. and bringing it back to Krishna consciousness. That's the point. Whatever the other person is saying, taking that, taking a cue from that, and turning the conversation to Krishna consciousness. So now, finally, here we are seeing that Srila Prabhupada said that, what is he saying? Modern civilization is simply interested in sense gratification. You don't have any knowledge about the truth of life. What happens after life? What is the goal of life? You don't have any knowledge. You'll find this knowledge in Bhagavatam. Why don't you take it? That's the point. Why don't you take it from there? If you're getting something good from somewhere, you should accept it. Like that. So now, so Professor KOTOVSKY, again, he just looks like, he just changes the direction. And he's saying, what I'm interested in is, I want to know, so okay, you are saying that we should take from you, whatever you are offering, we should take from you. So in order to take from you, we have to come and join you and, you'll train. But for someone to come and join you, he has to give up everything that he's doing. He has to forget his life, whatever, he has studied and everything. Now he'll come and join your movement. I'm talking from the perspective of a young boy, a farmer's son. When he comes and joins you, what kind of security do you give him? Do you give him any payment? Do you give him any payment? Now he's working outside either as a laborer, Shudra, or, he's working as a farmer, whatever, he's getting something. But when he drops everything and he joins your movement, what is the security for him? Do you pay him? Do you assure him some, payment? That was KOTOVSKY's challenge or question. So then Srila Prabhupada is saying, we are trying to create brahmanas. That was the whole point from the beginning, isn't it? The society needs brahmanas. So when we take someone inside, we are actually training that person to be brahmanas. When someone joins the temple full time, you're actually being trained as a brahmana. So then you have to live by the standard of a brahmana. Already it is said that, giving the example of Chanakya Pandit, brahmana does not accept any salary. He won't. So we are training brahmanas. So we will give knowledge. We will train him, educate him, build his character, and then send him out to spread the same message again. But it's not that we are denying others. That's the important point. If somebody wants to remain as a Kshatriya or as a Vaishya, can he do that? Srila Prabhupada is saying, yes, that's the beauty of a Daiva Varnashram society. The beauty is, you can be a devotee and you can also be doing your occupational activities. It's not that everyone has to become a Brahmana. No, it's not required that everyone has to become a Brahmana. But there's a different way of lifestyle. For example, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the two devotees that were with him. He said he's a brahmachari and he's a grihastha. Grihastha, he has a wife and son, child. So he needs income to maintain them. He works. But for the grihastha, the condition is, Srila Rupa Goswami says, whatever you're earning, 50% of that you have to give towards the spreading of Krishna consciousness movement. You're a devotee. Of course, you're a devotee also. And another example of Howard Wheeler, I agree with Prabhu. He's a professor, he's studying and he's teaching, but whatever he's earning, practically everything is giving to temple. So in the future course that we will do, the Bhakti Prakara, we will see the various categories. In that Karmarpanam, yesterday we were discussing, no, Jai Lakshmi Mataji, we were discussing Karmarpanam. So in that, it is possible that one offers full. Everything that he has, he'll offer Karmarpanam. It is possible that he will offer 50%. Or, and so there are, how he is offering, what is his consciousness when he is offering, what is the motivation for offering. So much, very in a refined way, you can study the consciousness of the person who's making that offering. You're doing your karma and then you're offering to the Lord. But Srila Prabhupada is saying we are training Brahmana. Brahmana means no salary. So KOTOVSKY's question was, will you pay salary? Will you give him, like for his security, financial security? Brahmanas, they don't accept salary. That's the point. But that doesn't mean we are denying others. The important point is we are not denying others. So then Professor KOTOVSKY said that, but, because Srila Prabhupada said we are making Brahmanas from everywhere. We are accepting Brahmanas from all over the country. So now he has another challenge. Professor KOTOVSKY saying that you're taking Brahmanas from all over. By this, you're actually going against the Vedic scriptures. According to Vedic scriptures, Brahmana comes from a Brahmana. When you're born from a Brahmana family, then you're Brahmana. By giving Brahman Diksha to those who are not born in Brahmana family, you're going against the Vedic, scripture. So that's when Srila Prabhupada said, no, this is not right. Right? So actually, just previous to that, Srila Prabhupada said that Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi, Shudra Kene Noi, Jai Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Hoi. Whether you're Brahman, Sannyasi, or Shudra, it doesn't matter. If you know the science of Krishna, you can become Guru. This is the point. Because when he was saying Grihastha, Brahmachari, Sannyasi, all can be devotees. Important thing is, so materially your activities, one person is not accepting any salary. One person is not accepting any salary. Another person accepts. And another person, even after accepting salary, he offers everything to the Lord. He works, but he offers everything to the Lord. And third category, he will work, he will take money, but part of it he's spending for his family, and half of the money he's giving for spreading the Lord's movement, and he's keeping part of it for the family and part of it for his emergency, personal emergencies he's keeping. So this is according to Shastra. But it does not matter. It's not that, this is a higher person. You can be whoever you are. You can be a person who doesn't take any money. You can be a person who takes all the money, who takes money and gives it all to the Lord. Or you can be a person who takes and keeps part of it for your family maintenance and gives half of it to the Lord. Everyone can become a spiritual master. The condition is you should know the science of Krishna. That's the point. It does not matter. If anyone understands the science of Krishna, he becomes the spiritual master. So then Srila Prabhupada quoted this verse. So that's when he's saying, KOTOVSKY is saying, Professor KOTOVSKY is saying, but by creating Brahmanas from different social classes of society, you're picking them from Shudras, from various classes, Mlechas you're taking, and you're giving them Brahman Diksha. By doing this, you are actually denying the prescription of Hindu scripture. That's when Srila Prabhupada said, no. I'm very sorry, but you're speaking incorrectly. What you're saying is wrong. Your understanding is wrong. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. I created based on Guna and Karma. He never says by birth. Nowhere in the scripture you will find that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is by birth. Then KOTOVSKY is saying, yes, I agree. But the recent Brahmanas, they tried to present it like that. So Prabhupada said that has killed the Indian culture, right? Accepting a person as a Brahmana by birth has killed the Indian culture. And Srila Prabhupada is also saying, if this is bringing us to the next point, that we have to read this now. Okay. Jayalakshmi Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Yeah, start from your Mataji, Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. No, that has killed the Indian culture. You see, otherwise there was no necessity of division of this Pakistan. Not only that, from history. Perhaps you know this whole planet was Bhagavata Varsha,
Bharatvarsha.
Bharatavarsha, and it was controlled by one flag up of Maharaja Parikshit. Gradually, they separated this. This is the history. And lately, they have separated Pakistan. So, Bharatavarsha is now crippled into a small pieces of land. Otherwise, according to our
Scripture,
Vedic scripture, this whole planet is called Bharatavarsha. Proof KOTOVSKY.
Professor KOTOVSKY.
Professor KOTOVSKY. Have you some across some hostile attitude to your teaching from Orthodox Hindu, from Orthodox Brahmans in India itself, Prabhupada, but rather we have subdued them, Professor KOTOVSKY. Yes, Prabhupada. Any Orthodox Hindu may come, but we have not got our weapons.
We have got.
But we have got our weapons.
Vedic evidences. Mana weapons and Vedic evidences.
Okay, Vedic evidence. So nobody has come. Professor KOTOVSKY, and how many disciples you have in India itself, from their 3,000. 3,000. How many members of your community you have in India itself? Prabhupada, in India. Professor KOTOVSKY, yes, Prabhupada. And India, there are many Krishna conscious persons, 100,000 millions. India, there is no question. There is not a single Hindu who is not Krishna conscious, Professor KOTOVSKY. Yes, I understand. But this especially specifically, Prabhupada, Vaishnava. This is called Vaishnava cult. The Vaishnavas is you. Now you have been in India. There are many millions of Vaishnavas. Professor KOTOVSKY. Oh yes, Prabhupada. Many millions of Vaishnavas, and just like this gentleman, he is a commander of the India Airlines. So he is not my disciple, but he is a Vaishnava. Krishna conscious. Similarly, in India, millions and trillions, there are Krishna conscious persons. And practically, there is not a single, even there are Mohammedans who are Krishna conscious. In Allahabad University, there is a Mohammedan professor. He is a great devotee of Lord Krishna.
Okay, Mataji, thank you. Yashoda Mataji, you want to read? Hare Krishna Mataji, because you're running out of time now. Yashoda Mataji, you want to read? No? Okay, she left. I'll just read because we have like 3 minutes left. So this is natural. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna consciousness is everywhere, in everyone's heart. It has to be awakened only by this process. That's all. It is there in your heart also. It is not that it is foreign to you. It is not that. In everyone's heart, there is Krishna consciousness. By this process, we have to awaken that. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koraye Uday. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 22, text 107. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. It is not something to be gained.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
I am
please.
sorry. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. I wanted to answer and then I clicked the wrong button.
Acha, acha. Please go ahead. Read Mataji from here. So this is natural from there.
Thank you very much. So this is natural. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna consciousness is everywhere, in everyone's heart. It has to be awakened only by this process. That's all. It is there in your heart also. It is not that it is foreign to you. It is not that. In everyone's heart, there is Krishna consciousness. By this process, we have to awaken that. Shravanadi Sudha Chitte Karaye Uday. From Madhya 22:107, pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity naturally awakens. Udaya. You know this word, Udaya, just like sun rises. It is not that sun all of a sudden comes from somewhere. It is there, but it rises in the morning. Similarly, this Krishna consciousness is everywhere, but some way or other, it is now covered. By this process, it is awakened and aroused by association. The other day in Bombay, I think, I was speaking some respectable gentleman that Krishna says, Mam hi partha vyapasritya yepi syuh yonayah striyo vaisyas tatha sudras tepi yanti param gatim. Bhagavad Gita 9:32. Krishna says, even those who are low-born, tapayoni, the striya, vaishya, and shudra, they are also included, but by accepting me, accepting my shelter, they are also elevated to the transcendental position. Now, why the higher class of Hindu society, they neglected this injunction of Bhagavad Gita? Suppose one is papayoni. Krishna says that they can be elevated to the transcendental position if they accept me. Why this propaganda was not done by the higher class people so that the so-called papayoni could be elevated? Why you rejected them? The result was that the Muhammadans, instead of accepting them, you rejected them, and they have petitioned, and they have gone away. And they have become eternally enemy of India. You see? Is it the end of reading?
Yes, Mataji. Read the last paragraph also.
So this is the first time that we are trying to elevate to the higher position of Krishna consciousness, even one is in the papayoni. It doesn't matter because soul is pure. Asangoyam purushaha. The Vedas say the soul is untouched by any material contamination. Simply temporarily, he is covered. This covering should be opened. Then he becomes pure. That is the mission of human life, to uncover ourselves from this material envelopment and come to the spiritual understanding. Surrender to Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. So,
Thank you.
thank you. So the last section that we read here was KOTOVSKY. Professor KOTOVSKY says that this Brahmana is by birth, and you are making people Brahmana from other groups. By doing this, you're denying what is given in the Hindu scripture. Then Srila Prabhupada said, no, 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 this is a completely wrong idea. It is because of this idea that Pakistan got separated from India. Srila Prabhupada is saying. Try to catch the point here. If you go on the bodily platform, seeing someone as a higher caste, someone as a lower caste based on birth, it's not denying the... See, you shouldn't go to the either end. One end is to say that we reject the caste system completely because, there is, what do you say, injustice, right? Some people, because they are born as low caste, you reject them. So they're damned, right? They cannot take to Krishna consciousness. They cannot come to the temples. They're damned because they are low class. What is the result of doing that? You will lose that population. You don't give them an opportunity to come to Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada's point is the whole planet was Bharatvarsha at one point. But by rejecting, they all got separated. And now the whole Bharatvarsha is limited to one small piece of land. Even that in the recent years got divided further. Losing Bangladesh, losing Pakistan and Burma and Nepal, right? Losing. Why? Because of this rejection based on bodily identification. But this is for the first time, Srila Prabhupada is saying, we are approaching people based on the fact that he is a spirit soul. And as a spirit soul, he, of course, certainly the spirit soul has this covering of avidya. And because of that covering of avidya, now he gets a subtle body. He has his karma, and that karma is giving him his particular nature. So because of that nature, certainly there is classification. Now, the other end of the spectrum is, one end is based on the bodily identification, you reject the various castes. But the other end of the spectrum is to say that there is no division, right? There is no division. Everyone is the same. Everyone is equal. Is everyone equal? Like the modern system, right? The modern system is everyone is equal. All are equal. Physically, all are not equal. The reason we have certain bodies is because of that particular nature. But this is not our eternal identity. The eternal identity, the identity of every living entity is he is a spirit soul, and Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. Constitutionally, every Jivatma, spirit soul, has the ability to render pure unalloyed devotional service. He has that ability. And when is that awakened? In the association of a pure devotee. When you get the association of a pure devotee, when you get the mercy of a pure devotee, that inherent potential to render devotional service to the Lord is awakened. That is what the Krishna consciousness movement is doing. Srila Prabhupada is saying. Going all over the world to people from various backgrounds, various natures, but tapping on that inherent tendency to render devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Then there is no question of rejecting anyone. But the condition is there. Yesterday we were talking about Harijans. With no training, if you simply say all are equal and you rubber stamp everyone, you are all Harijans, you are all children of God. If you say yes, everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. What did Krishna say? Srila Prabhupada quoted, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. That condition is there. That opportunity is available to everyone. You can be any type of Papa Yoni. You can be a Chandala even. You can be a Shudra. You can be anyone. Stri, Vaishya, Dvija, Dvija Bandhu. Whoever you may be. The opportunity to perform avyabhichari bhakti is given to everyone. And anyone who comes to that standard is admitted. Anyone who comes to that standard is admitted. You are not denying any person from any background or any birth. Based on the birth, you're not denying them the opportunity to come to avyabhichari bhakti. That's the point. Opportunity is given. But unless you come to that standard, you're not given entrance. You can even be born in a Brahmana family. Your father can be a very great Brahmana. But if you yourself don't qualify on your own merit, if you're not doing avyabhichari bhakti, you're not given entrance. Completely fair, isn't it? But what happened was, what the Brahmins did, Srila Prabhupada is saying, what they did was, they rejected people saying that, oh, you belong to this group, you belong to that group. So the result was, India started losing people, different groups of people. So that was the fault. So KOTOVSKY had said that, according to the Hindu scripture, Brahmana is by birth. Srila Prabhupada is saying, this has spoiled the Indian culture. Accepting a Brahmana by birth has spoiled the Indian culture. There is no harm in taking birth as a Brahmana, from a Brahmana father. But that's not the only criterion to judge whether a person is a Brahmana or not. Similarly, someone can take birth in a Chandala family, but simply based on birth, you cannot judge that this person is a Chandala. By training, first of all, by his swabhava, identifying his swabhava, by his guna, and by his work, he can be elevated. Identifying that, and by training him, he can be elevated. So that's where Srila Prabhupada concluded this section. Many millions of Vaishnavas, just like this gentleman, right? So if you want to know, just quickly, I'm going back. So when Srila Prabhupada said that anyone can be guru from any background, so immediately he challenges again, what's his name, Professor KOTOVSKY is saying that how many, don't you find any, what do you say, opposition? Do you face any hostile, hostile challenges from the Brahmana community, like the Brahmanas by birth in India? Do you face anything like that? That was his question. Because you're making Brahmanas from other groups, don't the people in India, don't they question this, right? Don't you face any opposition? That was his question. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, we have our weapons. What is our weapon? The Vedic Shastra. Vedic evidences. Shastra is the ultimate. Shastra Pramana. Whatever is said in Shastra, that is ultimate. Nobody can break it. So we have our evidence. So therefore we have subdued all opposition. Even if there is any opposition, we have subdued them based on the authority of Vedas. Like that. Then he had also asked about how many followers do you have, right? So in India, how many followers do you have? Like that he had asked. So Srila Prabhupada said, in India, why you talk about only my students in India? India is filled with millions and millions of followers. Anyone who is Hindu, he's a devotee of Krishna. Like that, Srila Prabhupada said. So I think that's where it ended. The discussion ended there. I'm just checking if I missed out any points. Yeah. Have you come across some hostile attitude to your teaching from Orthodox Hindu, from Orthodox Brahmanas? Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada said, in India. Yes. So yeah, in India, everyone is a devotee. That's the point. Many millions of Vaishnavas. And then Srila Prabhupada had the commander of Air India Airlines with him. So he said, he's not my disciple, but he's one of the millions of Indians, who is Krishna conscious. So in India, everyone is. And what to speak of Hindus, even Muslims in India, they are also, some devotees, some of them, they are also devotees, great devotees of Lord Krishna, like that, because it is natural. The point is, being a servant of Krishna, it is natural. That's the point, right? This is another important point. Srila Prabhupada said that sun is there all the time. But at a certain time, you see there is sunrise and, there is sunlight. And at night, when you don't see the sun, it doesn't mean sun is not there. Sun is always there. Similarly, Krishna consciousness is always there. That means that potential, that ability to render devotional service is always there in the living entity. But when you are in the association of a devotee, that potential, it's like a spark. It receives that from that devotee you get by that association from that devotee's mercy. Now you immediately, it catches fire, right? It catches fire. And now you start actually performing bhakti, rendering devotional service. So association is the key. And then anyone, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogana sevate sagunan samatitetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Not that. Mami partha, sorry, I was quoting the wrong verse. Mami partha vyapasritya yepi syuh papa yonayah striyo vaisyas tatha sudras tepi yanti param gatim. Anyone who takes shelter of me, even if he is of a low born, even if he is papa yoni, if anyone who takes shelter of me, he also can get the highest destination. So if Krishna is saying this, why the so-called brahmanas, why they didn't make this attempt in the past? Why they rejected people based on birth? That was Srila Prabhupada's challenge. So we will stop there today. Does anyone have any comments or any reflections, questions? This is supposed to be like a discussion group. So if at any time while we're reading, if you have any points you want to say or share, just raise your hand and we can have a discussion. Okay, so maybe we will end here today. Thank you all so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, will there be any Chaitanya Mangal class this evening?
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, the thing is, I'm in the process of writing a book for the next course, and I was not finding time to do that. That's why I cut down on the other classes. Once I'm done with that book, then we can resume again. So today we won't have.
Today it won't be there.
No, today it won't be there.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you all so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hi.
Samaveta Gaur Bhakt Vrind ki jai.
Jai.
Yeah.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha
Vadrapatitanam
patitanam pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
namaha.